Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jarrell. I'm in my backyard right now. I was doing some forms earlier. That's why there's weapons behind me and why I'm kind of sweaty. But I wanted to make this video today because I was thinking about writing a blog, but then I decided, you know what? Let me just make a video about it. Because in the last month, I've talked to probably almost close to 30 people about sacrifice. I'm a working actor, full-time working actor, producer, stuntman. I do a little bit of everything. And recently I've been getting a lot of questions about what does it mean, or how did I get there, or fear, or sacrifice and things like that. So I wanted to talk to you guys, kind of maybe a 2 or 3 part series. I'm gonna bring another good friend of mine who I call my pseudo twin to give her perspective on it. But I want to start with saying there are certain levels you have to look at when becoming not only just an actor and get into the entertainment industry, but with any industry. You have to look at it in a series of steps. Step number one always starts with you. That's number one. You have to look at it in terms of how you see yourself, how you prepare yourself, your habits, your daily habits, your weekly habits, your monthly habits, and even your annual habits. Step number two is your process. How do you easily, or even, the level of difficulty getting from point A to point B? And then also, like I said, sacrifice. The big theme of this talk is, or blog, I should say, is sacrifice. What are you willing or able to sacrifice in order to get to where you need to get to? You hear a lot of different phrases and quotes that I like to use, no success ever comes without sacrifice. Sacrifice means this, it means that, blah, 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 blah. But I like to break that down. I just recently had a talk with a really, really good friend of mine who she's at a point in her life where she's deciding what she wants her career to really be moving forward. And of course, we have the American dream of everyone says, go to college, get a good job, you'll be successful, blah, 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 blah. As we know now in 2016, that's not really the case anymore. Not saying don't get an education because I'm educated, but I realized early while getting my education, I need to do something else because just going the standard way didn't work for me. And not saying that it has to be that way for you, but everyone has their own way. My process and sacrifice came from letting a lot of things go. And a lot of things weren't just physical, material things. There were also people and also old habits, also how I thought about things, getting in my own way. I talk to people a lot about confidence and insecurity and fear. A lot of times I'm viewed as a person who's not afraid of anything, who's very confident, and who doesn't have any insecurities. I laugh when I hear people say that because I do. I'm afraid of a lot of things. I have a lot of insecurities and I doubt myself quite a bit. The difference is what I choose to do with that. And I always lean it back to what I've been taught about bravery. Bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's the acceptance of fear, but the decision to keep going, and that's how I process my own personal things and how I'm able to keep going. When I get afraid of something, I don't let that define who I am. I let it inform who I am and my situation. Then I make a conscious decision to go, what am I going to do next? Am I going to sit, run in the corner, be scared, cry, do whatever I want about it? Or am I going to say, all right, what can I do to overcome this? And yeah, it sounds simple. It sounds easy. The process itself isn't complicated. It actually is very simple. But getting to that point is hard because you have to do a lot of talking to yourself. You have to do a lot of reminding yourself of who you are, where you are, and also your destination, where you want to go. So I'll get back into the process. Step number one, know where you want to go. It's number one. A lot of people say they want to do things, but it's not very specific. And it doesn't have to be specific down to each step and, every single thing you're going to do getting there, but the there has to be very specific. I have a very specific place I want to go in my career. So I constantly remind myself of that. People have different things to do. Some people write lists. Some people, make a photo, make a video, or compare it to, I guess you could say, an idol or someone who inspires them. Me, I have a collection of that actually. After step one, after you've picked your destination where you want to go, start finding out what it takes to get there. What is the process of time? What is the process of investment? And sorry if I cut off, my battery actually died. But getting back to my point, what is the investment? The investment in time, the investment in physical labor, the investment in people, the investment in education behind whatever it is you want to get into. That's a very, very big step, is figuring out that process. The next biggest thing for me, and I always give people the same advice, is finding out who is already doing what you want to do and who's doing it well. I've always been taught that you can't win if you're the smartest person in the room, or don't ever be the smartest person in the room, and you'll never have anything to learn. I like hanging out with people who are smarter than me, who are richer than me, who are better martial artists, who are better actors, who are better producers, better directors, better writers, better everything. That way I can always have something to learn. I can always learn from someone. And that has been one of my biggest, I guess you can say, keys to success, is always improving, constantly improving. Coming from a martial arts background, practice is something that's very, very big to me. That's why I said earlier about the forms that I was just doing before I decided to do this video. I practice almost every day, if not every day, on the same thing. Repetition is a big part of it. And that's kind of the start of your process. Now, getting into the sacrifice part of that, kind of jumping ahead a bit, is all of that is going to take a sacrifice. That's going to take a financial sacrifice. It's going to take a sleep sacrifice. It's going to take a mental and emotional sacrifice. And it's also going to take a sacrifice on your relationships. In the next video, when I bring in, my buddy, we're going to talk about what that means in terms of friendships, in terms of relationships, and time, and sleep, and work, and practice, because that's where the hard part comes in. But please like and subscribe. I will make more videos later, and part 2 will be coming soon, so I'll catch you guys in a bit. Peace.